be on CTs, and we are going underway right now.
Welcome to CEVO TV again, or welcome back, or wherever you went. Just be here with us. I'm Cotton. My partner is Klops. It's DE Inferno, map 2 of a best-of-3 series. Manajuma faces off against Exertus eSports, and it looks like we have a pre-nade. It looks very much like we have a nade down mid, and this is going to hurt a lot for Flom. No, the nade, only one nade made it halfway down. It must have bounced off of something by accident. Second nade comes late, does negligible damage. Actually, none, as Flom managed to divert. Look at that tree boost.
Tree boost, yep.
Desi is up there. They'll leave him alone, and they're going to stack A. That's the wrong play.
Yeah.
It's the right play, right? It's the right play for Manajuma in their minds, but just because we can cheat and use X-Ray, we know that's the wrong play. Here comes the speed play. Exertus comes running into the bomb site, and they'll have an easy bomb plant as Desi calls for rotates. One will sit second oranges. One will be at the new box. They have a silenced USP firing at them, so they have really no idea where Desi is. It's a 5-on-5 fight, and the 4 CTs that have already made it to the site are fighting construction or at CT. The exchange is all in favor of Bluminator, who has a triple. D-Born comes back in and tries to even up the score. 2 versus 3, and D-Born's done an admirable job. 2 in the garden. And the first shot was a flick. The second, good. D-Born has 3. Wants a second headshot, no good. Shots has 2 more to end the round. Exertus has 1, and that's the huge, huge round on DE Inferno, as this is a CT-sided map.
It is. I really don't like... I mean, I would have liked the boost had they kept someone in B to, you know, be a distraction for Desi to pick up kills as they were coming in. But just Desi by himself there, I mean, it was no good. You saw the smoke completely blocked off his vision. And not only that, had they gone with just the standard rush and no smoke, I mean, it's still hard to get kills from there. You're essentially just trying to be a turret, and if they're running through the site, you know, you're maybe going to pick up 2 people at most before you have to drop. So, I mean, that's probably best case scenario. So, yeah, I mean, leaving him alone just it didn't make sense to me.
I'm sure it made plenty of sense when Manajuma still entertained the idea that they would go A. And remember, there's a lot of game film out there. They probably saw Exertus' tendencies. They thought to themselves, there's a good chance that we should stack A for some reason or another. But again, Exertus made the right play call. And again, they're making the right play call now by playing this very slowly in case Manajuma wants to do any kind of suicidal pushes. Shots will come up over the wagon, look toward the spools, and even spray through, trying to pick up an easy headshot, which he will not be rewarded with because the closest player to him is Shroud at the first oranges, and the second one is at the fountain. CZ, decapitation. That seems to be a theme of this evening. Shroud has 1 and maybe picks up a gun if he chooses to dive out. D-Born with his 5-7 finds the second. That's Flom who goes down. And the wrap from the Moto side is almost failed, and now officially failed, as Miniker cuts out Oct. 1 alive on this anti-eco round that has gone totally wrong for Exertus. Now Bluminator just cycles back and forth in full-on deathmatch mode, has a P90 and a Gallo in front of him. He hears Desi coming up to find him, and he thought he had a Gallo, so he was very careful about that peek. 1 versus 3, 30 seconds, and not a whole lot of reason to save this P90. So he'll spray, look to his right, think somebody was there and pre-fire. They're just milking this clock. They have guns. They have every reason to believe that we should probably save these things because we have armor as well, which is, by the way, a very courageous buy on this round.
Usually I think on the second round you could usually buy P250 and armor and still have enough money to buy on the 4th round, so I don't know if it's that courageous.
I will postulate this. If you do P250 armor on this map, you're likely skimping just a bit on your smoke and flash or something, and I would not, as a conservative in-game leader, say that that would be acceptable on Inferno. So, differing opinion, but yeah. I guess you could still buy.
I don't know if I would call Manajuma's playstyle that conservative. So
yeah, no.
But yeah, I understand your reasoning. But yeah, I mean, then that was really a smart play for him to just, you know, back off, not try to force that kill, because all he had was a P90, and really, if they save those guns, I mean, that's just money in the bank for them, and it gives them an advantage here. As you see, they're picking up all these kills with Banana, but I'm stealing the PXP, so I'll let you take it.
Enter the meat grinder. Exertus leaves only 1 after that conversation, and that was Flom with 7 HP. That was textbook hold of Banana. You've seen not many people do it that much better. Manajuma has 2.
They do, yeah, and like I said, you know, even though they had the P90, it wasn't enough to help mow down Banana like they tried to do. So, I mean, he dropped immediately, and Manajuma just had the gunpowder to hold off that rush. And, you know, they pick up another round, and now Oct picking up a AK here while the rest of his team is saving. So, I'm not sure what's up with that.
Well,
He actually has
I
armor
would,
too, so
yeah, I would think he had a misaligned buy at some point, and he wanted to like make his money somehow equalize, but he actually didn't. This is a mistake, and unless this is a purposeful play, let's look at where Octa's position number 9. He's the entry clearly at mid, and
well, yeah. If you have an AK, they're like, oh, good job, you have to entry now.
yeah, I guess it's a mistake. 2 early kills, no AK was used or actually successfully used, I should say, and that means that. That's a wasted weapon and a crippled economy for one player on Exertus. One player alive, that's Bluminator. He knows he can't get to his AK, or his teammate's AK, and he knows he can't really win this round. Put down by Desi, 3-1.
Yeah, that had to have been a mistake, and then once you realize that, you got to make the best of the situation and say, okay, well, you got the gun, you have to go for the entries here, and he tried, but he just couldn't do anything, and now everyone's buying, and he's going with the CZ, so, I mean, CZ armor, so, I mean, he is down, but, I mean, it's not too terrible that he doesn't have a gun. I mean, obviously, it's not ideal.
But how does that happen? I guess for longtime players, we're all used to being like 3-1, 3-2, 2-7, you know, like calling out your money. These days, everybody's numbers are on the scoreboards and stuff, and I guess he just thought everybody had enough money.
Yeah, he probably saw his money and figured, okay, if I have enough, then my team has enough. And he just bought without, getting the go-ahead from the IGL.
That will end up punishing them, making this steep climb on T-side that much steeper. Shots ran through the fire. His teammate is in the pit. They have the advantageous spot, but they've got a lot of players to kill. This bomb plant will be at least a success that Deepborn won't let happen. The Grinch stole that Christmas. Only one left. That's Flom, who's in the pit, and he's thinking, we can't even get the bomb plant, man? Tries to transfer his spray. Minicur will bring him down. 4-1.
Yeah, Deepborn was lurking in the apartments, and I think he just came out boiler right there and got kind of lucky getting that pickup. Turned the corner and was like, oh, okay, free kill on the bomb planter, no big deal. Takes it and stops Exertus from getting any extra cash right there. And what? Oct buying an AK again?
This has to be purposeful. I mean, it is the playoffs, and we do see some odd things that some people cook up as, Counter-Strike theory crafters. Maybe they have an eco strat, because nobody does this twice. Nobody does this twice.
It just,
if they win, they're justified, right? Irakanji has one, then Shots comes around the corner with his, I think, P250. Oct has the kill, and I guess that justifies the purchase. 2 versus 2, and if they win this round, I guess it's a brilliant play. Shroud and Desi now have to retake the site. One is in the library, and the other comes from the port side, and it looks like Shots with his AK that's stripped away from the CTs has a chance to ambush Shroud. He'll retake thus far. Shroud seems to know exactly where his opponent is. Comes out pre-firing, shoots him in the stomach. Even if he didn't had a headshot, he couldn't have got his opponent to respond fast enough. Clay, that's a purposeful buy. At this point, that you have to assume that's a purposeful buy, and I don't know why. I don't get it.
It just doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I mean, maybe because, well, he did have enough money now, but they did get the bomb plant, and they've lost, 5 rounds in a row, so I believe that's why they had the money. Maybe he thought, hey, I have enough money to buy, and if we lose, then we'll have we can buy anyways.
Maybe he's a master of arithmetic, because he can buy and he still has like $1,000 left.
Well, that's because the losing bonus and the bomb plant came into play right there,
So I guess we've answered our own question. Losing bonus, plus I'm confident my team's going to get a bomb plant. To hell with that, I'm buying an AK.
I guess. I'm going to buy because if we lose, then we can all buy anyways, is, I guess, the theory there. It's still very strange.
New meta established by Oct. Heard it here first. 3 versus 2. Shots and Pinecone will try to force their way into bomb site B. The defender here has vacated his position, falling back to the new box, and I think they'll be challenged by Pinecone. Bomb plant by Shots never even happens. Exertus has a kind of a tough time planting these bombs lately. Nobody wants to let them do it.
Yeah, thought they had the site free and clear, but Shroud was waiting at new box and just took the spray to him and finished off that round. So they're leading now 6-1. And the losing bonus still in effect for Exertus, as we do see Bluminator picking up an op. I'm wondering, haven't really seen Minicur doing aggressive picks mid for the most part. So let's see if we're going to see an op battle here.
Our number 1 steps out to mid, doing exactly what we just asked, but not peeking the stairs, waiting to actually look at the wall, that brightish red plaster that's been muted out by CSGO's coloring. Flom sprays the corner of the apartments, and our step out by Deborn is good. Shot Pinecone in the side, and that is a poor way to lose a player. Everybody has to be looking at mid. At least some support player has to be accounting for mid for that play to happen. And that momentary lapse of concentration ultimately cost Exertus one of their 5. And the op shot from Shots, actually that op shot from Miniker on the other side of the map will bring down Oct, who peeks him, crouch peeks him, thinking that he could get the shot to fly over his head. No good. And you don't want to, you kind of know where Miniker is. You don't really want to challenge him because of how good he's been. So once you identify that as a personnel management sort of matchup, you want to either ISO him with multiple players and a support player, or don't at all. That's a run through the smoke, and Shots had no idea that Desi ran right past him through the smoke without ever registering that his opponent was near him. 1 versus 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice response, honestly, because Desi had that push with the teammate Flash coming in where he picked up 2 kills, and then Shots decided to go for the YOLO play through the smoke, like you said, and got that exchange. Oh, buddy.
Oh, God.
Kanji emptying the whole clip into the lifeless body of Shots right there, just waiting at the bench for that rotate, and it worked out. So, I mean, another one for Manajuma. And Exertus should still be able to buy. You know,
is this more or less confirming to you that Manajuma has arrived as a top team in North America?
I think I had that confirmed for me personally.
Weeks
before
ago,
this
probably.
game. Yeah, I mean their roster is so strong, and I said it before. You know, if they have Nafly as a backup, I mean
In CEVO.
Yeah, in CEVO. I mean your roster must be pretty freaking good if Nafly is a backup for you.
Yeah, I think Bluminator is about to find that out the hard way, because he's now has to face off against Shroud and his teammate, who's now made it to the Speedway and probably to CT. He picks up the bomb, which disappears off of Shroud's radar, which hadn't been on the radar for long enough, so he knows he's there. Nice shot. He's clearly not intimidated. He's gonna fake the plant, thinking that his opponent is actually much closer than he actually is. He could have gotten away with it, and Miniker is just waiting with his op. He knows that his team is probably telling him, actually, the last is Miniker. He has an op. Don't go into anywhere where an opper would be looking down the lane, and he's clearly put together the puzzle pieces. Sees the committed defuse, sprays him down, and puts up the second round from Exertus. A very smart play by Bluminator.
Yeah, very well played by Bluminator to go around through construction like that and come around on the flank for Miniker. I mean, he knew, like you said, probably Miniker had an op, and if he was going to charge the site, then he would have to probably go straight through, because construction is a small space, and fighting in there with an op, probably not ideal. So yeah, good play by Bloom.
Let's see the opening on this round from Exertus, who have won their first in what has been a bit of time for them. They'll try speed, perhaps, come around the port side before the smoke has even popped. Miniker hits a jumping flom, and that's a dangerous proposition to do. You know that offside is a hot player this evening. Shots ran blind at his opponent, which is probably not the greatest of ideas. The wrapping force coming from the port side is going to challenge Miniker up close, who now has a triple on the round. He whips out his CZ. Desi comes to support him, and Bluminator has to clutch one more time versus 3. Again, the isolation, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Bluminator is sick today. I'm saying, right, that Miniker is playing great today. You saw that on Dust 2. He got off to a hot start, and the ISO play on him is clearly intentional. They're going after him, trying to eliminate Miniker, thinking maybe he cooled off in the second half of D2. But he is being a wrecking ball, and I mean Miniker. And
yeah.
The fact that Bloom's had to try to clutch twice in a row should be a flag, a warning signal to Exertus. Maybe we shouldn't be doing, though. No! Shroud finds the clutcher, the attempted clutcher, and puts an end to his hopes. We'll defuse this bomb and make this 8-2.
It was a nice try. He tried to go for the fake B, but, you know, Shroud figured, hey, I could just wait here, and if he does plant B, then I could get there in plenty of time. But yeah, I want to talk about, you said they're going for the ISO on Miniker, which is smart. I mean, you know, isolating that op is good, but you need to use nades to do it effectively.
And not run at them blind.
Well, the reason why Shots ran at him blind was he was charging around the corner, and a flash came in, a pop flash came in through the CT spawn connector from one of Miniker's teammates. So it wasn't really a choice. he was already running through, and it was just a well-placed flash by one of the B players who rotated.
Very good observation there, and that's why you are the analyst. Comes around the corner is Flom, and then Oct, who trades out 2-2. Actually, that first kill registered by Miniker, picked through mid, makes this a 3-2 standoff. And Desi has flanked all the way through the banana, is making a lot of noise now, and surely Exertus knows that he's there. That first kill from the break of the action is Deborn's, and the second is also Deborn's, 9-2.
Yep, another one where they tried to go mid to B, or not mid to B, mid to A, And they actually did a good job. They got 2 kills, but the rotates came in quick, and actually the flank came in from B. You saw they wasted no time pushing down B and just coming through mid to help out their teammates at A, referring to Manajuma, obviously. But yeah, I mean, if they keep trying to isolate Miniker, it can work, but they need to start using nades to their advantage, because they aren't, they're not using any pop flashes to move him off the spot. They're not using smokes to get him. They're just trying to peek out at him, and I mean, he's a good operator. He's going to hit those shots if you just try to peek him and get that quick one-tap on him.
Miniker's been playing without a support player frequently, so they this time tried to be a bit more, I guess, imaginative, cheeky by sticking Irakanji in as a support player at the cubby. Didn't get a kill. Actually, the reflexes of the Exertus players caught him and didn't reward them with anything. At the porch comes Desi. Here comes the pinch from the moto side. Shroud hits a perpendicular shot and literally clotheslines Flom, who flops over and does a cartwheel. Desi joins the fray and also gets the defuse. 10-2. And I guess, and I'm just being an optimist here, if you won 4 rounds, it's manageable. But you've got to think this is a win-out scenario. This is dire straits.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a win-out scenario for them. I mean, Exertus is really struggling once again on the first half of this game, like they did last game. So I mean, they're hopefully maybe will have a better CT side here, or maybe but it's odd because I mean they did pick T side first, so I would assume that they were looking to do much better on this side.
There's the push, and Irakanji comes out with Fury. Hits Bloomy on the side. 2-2 the trade, actually, and the pop flash from Shroud is going to make him the solo B defender. He doesn't actually throw it, thinking that players have backed out, and correctly he has assessed that the danger is mostly gone. And with 2 players left for Exertus, the play call is now kind of make it up. Kind of try to be an improv artist and maybe bunch up together and support each other. Irakanji's on the other side of the smoke. Does he see? He must think something is right there because Flom and Octa are about to get shot. They'll come back into the banana, and Shroud has taken up residence behind the car. Sees the first, and he claims him. The second also. 4 bursts for Flom will do the trick, 11-2.
Yeah, I think Irakanji just thought, they put a smoke here. I think I'm going to sit here and see if anyone pushes through. I don't think he could actually see through and see the 2 people down mid right there. But, he was going for that guesswork right there, which it almost worked out for him. They almost decided to go up mid, but then at the last minute decided to turn towards B, which Shroud obviously was already waiting for him. So
Manajuma is quickly pulling away, and this last semi or micro buy round before they can buy again. Exertus, if they won, would have enough losing bonus to probably get a full T-side buy. Will go the way of Exertus. This is a good round here, and they're starting to see Manajuma getting a bit impatient, trying to put this game away. They capitalized on a bit of over-aggression. Irakanji and Shroud are now gone, and the response from D-Born evens it all up. 3 alive, but the Exertus team just a bit wounded. 1 tap from Shots, who fired an unnecessary second shot. He's been pretty good at that one, and we've called that out before. He's been very good at that one. Walks into Miniker's scope, and that's just so unfair. He's thinking, I've got the personnel matchup over here. Shroud used to be over here. That means that if I just walk in and fight a rifle battle, it'll be fair, but no, Miniker with his op is there.
Yeah, Miniker is there to take heads off with the op as they come around the corner. And look at this, Exertus, even though they have the losing bonus going again, just barely enough money to buy. So, I mean, it's... Oh, man, this scenario that they're in is just not good. They had, like you said, they had the opportunity... Well, not the opportunity. They needed to go for the win-out scenario there the past 2 rounds, but it just wasn't working out for them. They can't get the picks that they need, and it seems that they don't have an answer to Manajuma's defensive holds.
And partially that has to do with the predictability of Exertus' offense, right? Because Exertus is the type to do the pick and roll, but they don't have a ton of set pieces for this map. They don't have a bunch of smokes that are designed to seal off perhaps port side and library and try to ISO the speedway. They don't have the fire rain Euro strat or the complexity strat. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If they just go for the pick and roll and they lose individual gun battles, they have to have something to fall back on. Clearly, they didn't.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I really haven't seen any smokes, honestly, coming out from Exertus at all. And, smokes are very vital to taking these both bomb sites, honestly. And they're really not hard to do. I mean, I would assume that a team of Exertus' caliber should be familiar with the smoke placements necessary for Inferno. But, I mean, this is obviously just a good pick by Manajuma to pick Inferno. for their second map matchup. They must have
Remember,
done their homework
yes.
and known that Exertus can't or doesn't perform well on this map.
Remember, you in the audience, that this map during the map ban phase is the map that Manajuma selected. So either they feel excessively confident here, which they should. They look at their record, 17 and 6, 16 and 5, 11 and 8, or they feel that Exertus is exceptionally weak here. So we'll never know, but one of the two is definitely in play. And if you just do me a favor, Clay, hit J and look at total damage dealt, or not J, Q, Q.
Yeah.
And look at the total damage dealt. The line, the fat line is the average, is just, it diverges from the first round and never touches again. They never even had the same killing performance, let alone economic performance. So this is the round that really counts. Exertus needs this pistol round, and it looks like they're doing an admirable job of seizing it. Desi's the last and tries to fight a Glock. Oh, one-on-one, and Desi could clutch if he turns around. He gets shot in the back, and Pinecone makes a last statement, at least, that we're going to get this round and maybe a couple more. If you did look at that graph for me, those numbers, they diverge from round one, and they never look back.
I don't know if the graph is off here because they switched sides, but I mean, in my graph is showing the terrorist damage is higher than the CT damage, which doesn't make sense because Manajuma was CT side and they were just stomping Exertus. So
That's actually it. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GoTV does that sometimes, and the colors flip-flop. But clearly, if anybody watched the first half, they know that that's not right.
Yeah.
P90 kills abound, and that was really, really fast.
That was really fast. I mean, Exertus, you know, they're doing it right so far on the second half, picking up the pistol, and obviously the rounds after that. So, I mean, if they could pick up this one, it should be another easy round for Exertus. But I mean, you know, these anti-ecos, we have been seeing quite a few from these two games that we've seen today.
From here until the end of the game, Exertus eSports lives on the knife edge. They have upgraded, partially at least, to FAMASs, to P90s, 2 of them. Yep, I can do my math. And 3 FAMASs. And the P90s make a lot of sense if you hold close corners here. They spray through the smoke, hoping to find a second one to come out free-firing. There's a second kill and a weapon wrested away. Desi has one. That's a P90, I think, that he's recovered. I'm not sure that it'll do a ton for him as they back up into the sites and find their secondary positions where the P90 is probably less effective. Octon shots have 2. That's Shrouded Miniker, who are removed. Desi's the last with his P90. No good, like we called, 13-5.
Yep, so they get their 3. Now we're going to see the buy round coming out here, and no op is going to be able to be afforded by Miniker. They didn't even make enough money, didn't get enough kills or bomb plants to afford one, so he's just going to be rolling AK. And even their nades are light. You see 5 smokes being picked up, but the flashes, only 5 total, when they could have picked up more. So it's going to be interesting to see where Manajuma decides to go with these smokes and how they're going to place them, because, like I said, we didn't see any smoke placement really from Exertus on their T side.
That's true. They have just barely enough flashes to do maybe one fake and turn it around. Maybe not even that if they start bringing down their players early in the apartments. Shots gets traded. Irakanji has that killed before, after Desi was killed. And that means that they'll reverse back around. These smokes are preventing them from coming up into the brackets and challenging Bluminator, who has dropped back to Moto, we know, but they don't. And they leave Irakanji up and pushing, up and flanking, being an aggro lurker as opposed to the silent lurker. They'll move up through the banana, and that means this final battle happens between Pinecone and the entire Manajuma squad. He loses the battle. Then Ox also promptly loses his second attempt at it. That means 2 versus 4, and Exertus fights a very, very uneven battle that they actually are not going to try. Good for them.
Yeah, and honestly, when that was coming down, I was thinking, Pinecone is actually pretty consistent at holding B, so, I mean, this could be a bad move by Manajuma, but, I mean, they got in there and they just hit their entries perfectly, and, Fam does get that kill onto Irakanji, so that's one rebuy forced by Exertus, but either way, this round is going to go to Manajuma, and they're going to be picking up a nice boost to their economy here, so Exertus, even though they did get those first 3 rounds, I mean, they're back to being almost negative again. I mean, the money is probably going to be, they'll be able to not force buy. Pinecone and Shots both have plenty of money, so.
Tough times if you're an Exertus player. The proposition of coming back seems impossible. The idea of playing through the lower bracket through the remainder of the tournament seems fairly inevitable, and the opponents that you face down there get no easier. Emotionally, this conversation in your Mumble or TeamSpeak or wherever is not exactly the happiest right now. Do you just say, let's get out of here and come back and fight another day, or are you really trying to make the epic comeback?
I think you got to go for the comeback. It's playoffs. You don't want to go to the lower bracket and have to fight your way all the way back to having to play 2 BO3s for the championships. Even if you get there, I mean, it's still a struggle. So
here's a conversation that I knew we were going to have. I didn't want to have, but I knew we were going to have. Exertus came out to a roaring start in Season 4. And then one player left. His name was Shroud. He's on the other team now. And Manajuma's promptly administering a clinic on how to play Inferno. There's no coincidence to be inferred here. Clearly, Shroud was a differentiating type of player.
Yeah, no, Shroud was a huge addition to Exertus' roster. I mean, that kid is pretty freaking ridiculous. And, I mean, losing him definitely was a setback for Exertus in terms of for their competitive play. And, you know, we're seeing it now. They're struggling a bit here.
There's the flank, and on the CT rotate around, Manajuma had Irakanji one tap and ambush one of the CT players and get traded out by Bluminator. D-Born's the last facing off against 2. He is at the default plant position, or the blue truck on Inferno, as it were. And he's got the bomb with 30 seconds, so maybe he doesn't force this plant. Maybe he uses it as a sound bait, or does the actually very tough thing to do and convinces himself to actually plant. He'll come back to the bracket looking for Bluminator, and if he comes out early and cuts one out, he's got a good chance at this. There's the attempt, but no good. Bluminator knew his enemy's tendencies, and I think that's a lot of... is that a teabag? Was that a teabag?
It looks like it to me.
Don't tell me these players don't care about this game. This is playoff time, and that's what I had mentioned in pregame, where I think it was Irakanji in that Reddit thread was like, we are trying as hard as we goddamn can because it's playoff time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that was a big round for Exertus. You know, they get the win, but also it looks like they're going to be forcing Manajuma to save. You see Shroud and D-Born do not have enough money to buy. Desi could force, but not going to do it. Irakanji picking up a CZ, and Miniker actually bought an AK. Let's see how much she has left over.
That deep nade
750.
Does a ton of damage. Desi ate about 60. Excuse me. Yeah, just about 60, and Minicurd had another 30 tacked on there. First kill by Oct, then the next Pinecone, and another by Pinecone. The third also by Pinecone. The last is D-Born, who is out at mid, wondering what happened to his team. He could pick up a gun, supposedly, if he just kind of shoved his way into the site, but I don't think he's going to win this round.
That AK is right in front of him right there. He can grab it and run. I think that's what he's going to go for.
Or make the play. He's going to step into the site, looking at the fountain, sees the shoulder of Pinecone, and connects the shot. There's a headshot for him. He's taken no damage, so his odds are still just as good as they were before, if not at all improved, and that nade also will do significant damage. That fire is not close enough. He could have actually planted. He comes off of it, and Bluminator thinks that he must have come off of it, so they're wait for the second sound cue. 1-on-3. That flash is no better than an after image, as that's too high to do really any sort of significant blinding. This is a committed plant. Bluminator's in the garden, hits a beautiful looking 2-tap, and he will claim, nope, he had a bomb plant, bomb defuse stolen from him. It'll be 14-7.
Yeah, I mean, he did go for the plant. Either way, gonna get some extra money for Manajuma here. But Miniker had an AK on that round, while the rest of his team was wielding pistols, and they didn't use him as the entry, which I thought was kind of odd. I mean, maybe using Irakanji with the CZ, trying to get the entry, and then using Miniker with that AK as support, you know, maybe to help hold on to the site. But either way, it didn't work out for him. And I guess, you know, no harm, no foul, because they got the bomb planted, and they have enough money to all buy, so, you know, works out for him.
It will. We'll come up to the aggressive positions in the CT side and drop one out. Pinecone will come back to the speedway, leaving one of the banana. That will be a Oct fighting through the smoke, and most of this take is on the alternate side here. So the closest player to the action is probably the port side player, Flom, who's waiting to see if somebody's going to come to the jump window or somebody's come walking through the smoke. When in reality, we kind of know that Manajuma is just waiting for somebody to make a push, somebody make a mistake, because they think Exertus is a bit rattled right now. And justifiably so. They probably are right. Exertus is probably a little rattled right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, you know, they did get pretty handily served on that first half. Exertus, though, I mean, you could say they're riled, but I mean, so far the second half, I mean, they've been doing a pretty good job. But I mean, the score line obviously shows that Manajuma is just right on the cusp of taking this game.
smoke out in front of Flom. It leaves just a tiny crease for him to see through, so if anybody comes through, he's still got them mostly locked down. And Bluminator sees Miniker coming up to the bracket, still charging, throws a pop flash to peek again, and they force Desi back, who is flashed by that. Irukandji comes out next, spraying the art side, and he's trying to force his way in here unsuccessfully. They have all 5 players alive, so there's no real justification to throw your weight or back around. Not until just now, when the in-game leader of Manajuma says, come back around, but the CTs have rotated. Oct fights in the new box, waiting for his teammates to come. Please help, he calls, and he's still alive back there. Just being the worst of nuisances. The bomb, or excuse me, a nade will take him out. Oct is down, 4 alive for the CTs, who have fully rotated now, and that play was made really by Oct. By staying alive for that long, he's practically won this for them, unless Shroud does something magnificent here. First headshot in the barbecue, a reloading shots, throws in the magazine, slams it home, and finishes off the round 14-8.
So we're seeing Manajuma starting to have some struggles here, trying to get into these bomb sites. You know, they go to A, lose a guy, and then decide to rotate it back towards B, where they have someone where Exertus has someone dug into the site, and then the rotates quickly come in. They just essentially get a bomb plant, and that's about it.
I genuinely am surprised. If I can say something to your point before you continue. They're a very experienced team, Manajuma is. They left somebody at the new box to fight them for what felt like a full 15, 20, 25 seconds, and Oct stayed alive for so long that his team got there to rotate.
Yeah, I think they might have been worried about another person being over at that connector area or from CT spawn, but since they did have the full 5 there, and I think they were just worried about running at him and getting taken out by that guy. But either way, you gotta charge that guy and get him out of the site, so that way you take control and then could focus on the other the CT spawn in the construction area. So I agree with you there. But I mean, back to my point, I was gonna say that Exertus. Exertus didn't really use any smokes on their T side, and I expected to see some coming out from Manajuma, but for the most part, I mean, they're lacking too in terms of the nades.
Irukandji seems to have done his homework. He drops a nade right on top of Pinecone's head, and he's dropped him to about 51 HP. Finally, after a while, we see the opposite of what we had seen in the first half. Exertus had gone with the pick and roll sort of look and the isolated pick. Now we're having a set piece here. All these smokes will drop into the site. One will be for the new box. One will be for the fountain. 2 will be for the fountain. 1 will be for the spool side, and here comes the charge through. The bomb is planted in the smoke in the confusion. Bluminator has stepped through, almost picked up a double, and this round is starting to lean toward Manajuma. 3 on the retake, and they have to force this issue unless they want to play for the long-range tie, which is never anybody's favorite thing to do. Desi steps out, has 1, then probably 2. Nope, Shots picks it up. There's 1 in the banana. There's 1 in the construction. They're looking for a knife kill. D-Born's looking for a knife kill. Our last is our number 7, who fakes the defuse and now probably has no longer a clear opportunity to get this defuse. So what he's going to go for is a committed defuse. He can't get it. Manajuma is 1 away.
Those smokes were very, very nice. I liked how they approached it. Rather than, smoking off spools and then CT connector and then trying to isolate the guy at new box, they decided they would put smokes over by the oranges and at spools and essentially block off, the guy playing in the back of the site like that. And then they just came into the site, planted up close at the barbecue, and the person playing back couldn't spray through and get those guys, and then they could just focus all their attention on the people coming through CT spawn, and it worked out very well for Manajuma.
Really impressive stuff to diagnose your own weakness. Guys, we really sucked at fighting the new box, so let's smoke the new box and then try to kill the rotators, because Oct is going to sit back there the entire day. Clearly, they called it right. This round, they may have called it wrong. Miniker's the last one. He's the number 1 coming to the boiler, looking down, and through the wall we can see Flom just waiting for him. The toe is giving it away, and that's going to be an Exertus round. So yes, you're right. That's an amazing play call by Manajuma.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I'm surprised that we had to wait so long to see those great set smokes for Manajuma because, like I said, I thought we'd be seeing them sooner. But honestly, that was the first real team set smokes that they utilized, and if they just did that again, either at B or A, they'd probably have success and just be able to finish this game off.
We'll see if anything finishes this round. Still, they sit on the game point, and nades and incendiaries thrown down. Banana dissuades the Manajuma squad from pushing up here. On this eco round, chances are that they're not going to hit a second entry, even with that CZ. They'll come out from the boiler. Flom sees them, and he'll have a double if he can just control his recoil. There you go, a triple for him, 15-10. Clay, if you saw the scoreline after this game, regardless if it finishes 16-10 or otherwise, you would think that this was kind of a close game, but This has been huge swings. A crazy first half by Manajuma, then a kind of a storm back by Exertus, which is yet to be complete, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it did seem like it was going to be a stomp based on the first half and how Manajuma was playing. I mean, they only let Exertus get, I believe it was 3 rounds. So yeah, I mean, that was a great first half by them. And like you said, you know, based on the scoreline and how this is going to end, you'd be like, oh, that was a close game. But from, you know, us watching it, we were thinking, oh, wow, Manajuma is just completely dominating this game. They should be able to take the second half, no problem. But, I mean, they're meeting resistance here.
Oct is very aware of the CZ theory, so instead of letting him get pre-fired, he came out to engage his opponents. Maybe they won't even take a single casualty here, and I can't tell you how important that is for an economy. But again, your economy is your least of your concerns if you're just trying to hold on with your teeth. 15-11.
Yeah, that seemed kind of like a just get it over eco round. I think they wanted to move on to the gun round here. Seeing smokes picked up and Irakanji actually picking up a Molotov, so that could be used very effectively at B, especially towards that new box guy. You can actually get the fire back towards new box if done correctly. And, I mean, that is where I believe Pinecone has been playing the majority of the time. But look at this, Exertus going for a 3-man stack on B.
They wanted to call the bluff of Manajuma and call out their strat, perhaps get some easy kills early in the round, and they did not. So they'll back off and probably fall back to a more default look with 2 in the banana, 3 at A, with 1 perhaps at art side or library side. With this, with the round timer as it is, and the round as old as it is, I think that art side is less likely to be held. They have limited degrees, and he'll play the library just a little bit off instead of Moto. The apartments, or the mode of entry for Manajuma. And the bomb is egressed all the way back toward T-spawn. It waits, and they'll call the full rotate back. See everybody congregating here, not a single lurker left. That means this is going to be a committed B take, and they'll take it very slow because Pinecone is right there in their faces.
And if they just, you know, if they play this patiently, I mean, they, you know, Exertus is using all their grenades right now. So, I mean, if Manajuma just keeps holding in this area and then, you know, pushes B after that smoke clears and gets the kill onto Pinecone since he's pushed up, or even if he backs off, I mean, they won't have any nades to defend the site, and they should be able to get in there pretty easily.
Excellent point. Exertus' play, their aggressive play is forcing Manajuma to use up their utility nades, and those tools will not be available for them, which we know is so critical to taking bomb site B. And the bomb still sitting at the T ramp looks like it wants to go into bomb site B. They do have just enough. 2 smokes, a handful of flashes. It'll be just enough. Flashes over, and they use a bevy of them and do not at all make their way into A.
Arch, that's why.
That's right. Irakanji's there at Moto is he's given new dental work. 5 alive. Shot by Flom is good. Another good. And Miniker is the first one to register the round. The last alive is him, who gets sprayed down by a CZ. Look at this, Clay. 15-12.
Yeah, and I mean, I wish they would have stuck to B because, I mean, they had the nades, the nade advantage. They could have, you know, used their nades to their advantage where Exertus was all out at B. They didn't have any defensive nades to use. They used them all while they were trying to push.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this purchase? Weak purchase, not enough utilities?
No. I mean, they haven't been having success with, you know, guns and not using their nades, so, I mean, I can't see them having success with a weak purchase and no nades as well.
They've lost one already. It's Irakanji, who, of course, we know is an integral part of their success. That's demoralizing, and it will have to be a phenomenal play here. Perhaps an entry by Desi, who sprays in toward the cables or the spools, drops out through the smoke, and Pinecone gets aggressive, trying to take advantage, capitalize perhaps on the weakness or the decision-making, or the lack of decision-making, I suppose, of Manajuma. This is odd because we've seen the playbook thrown at them. Manajuma has broken out a couple set pieces. They've tried to go with the ISO bracket arch side kill. They cannot. They've also gone with speed, by the way, with those smokes and the set piece smoke and speed into B, and nothing's working.
I mean, I know you said you've seen the playbook for throwing at him, but honestly, this T side is kind of mirroring Exertus' T side. It seems that they are trying to work that pick and roll for the most part. I mean, we've only seen a few set pieces being utilized, and I wouldn't say it's enough to say that they got a good, consistent playbook here.
Exertus is hunting down the last player. Shroud, who's at the barbecue, wanted to maybe get the bomb plant down before the round ended. 15-13.
It is getting close here. I mean, that buy here, you know, this is probably going to give Exertus a 14th point here. as they move on. No, they're going to go for
Another force.
Seeing 3 smokes, so
If they win, we have nothing to say other than the fact that it was a brilliant play and a good call by Manajuma. But if they lose this round, the crowd, their fans, will just come roaring down on them, condemn them for their decision making. Now, know that they've already won a map, so it's not like they're throwing away the series. It's just a very dangerous thing to do. The spray through could have been a headshot. Bluminator thought he had someone maybe at the corner, and he did. He tagged Miniker and just scared him off just a little bit. Minute 30 in the round, everybody alive, and just a little bit of damage issued to the T side. Manajuma has decided that this round will be the round we gamble, and we don't really care about that last round, even though we're kind of on a losing bonus, so we'll probably buy similarly on the last round. Decisions. 3-2 is the split for the CT side, and we all have a T entry force working their way in. You can see the activity for Exertus at bomb site B, and they've called over an XS rotator. They've got one person out of position. Bluminator's in CT spawn, Speedway looking toward B, and he's at the wrong bomb site. Miniker and Dborn are now beginning the wrap, and that defender is so far out of position who's just now barely getting back there. Dborn's around the corner, is out in open space, shot down by Bluminator and Flami. We need a big play by Manajuma to win this one, elsewise your last round is not going to be healthy at all either. No deaths for Exertus. Desi and Irukandji are the last who fight. Now at the archway and the porch. No deaths for Exertus. The comeback is on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Manajuma keeps getting these opportunities here to win rounds, but then they just make these tiny mistakes. Like right there you saw they had archway, and 2 players decided to go push through when no one else was there to support him. If they would have just waited for the rest of their team, they would have had probably much better success at taking that side, and they probably would have got kills and actually been able to take A. But since they, 2 players decided to go kind of rogue, it kind of ruined the strategy.
Here's our final gasp for Manajuma, who could probably win this one if they could just figure out how to use their nades a bit more efficiently, and they'll throw this one away. The comeback is almost complete. Shroud is the last with his Galil just frantically spinning about, trying to figure out how to do this one, how to make the most amazing play of his young career. Elsewise, I have to tell you, we may be going to overtime. Here comes probably the final gasp. Takes so much damage, down to 19. Shot. The comeback is complete. We're going to overtime. It's a best of 6. First of 4. Full money. Thank you, playoffs. I love you.
Yeah, we do have an exciting OT coming up right now, and it is going to be right now. It's already initiated, as you saw for some Spangler. OT is on waited, and they do have the money, so we are live right now.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Are you?
I'm very ready.
Let's see the opener for the terrorist side, and Manajuma's side's a bit of relief, being like, we can finally buy. This feels so much better. We have AKs, armor, nades, flashes, smokes. Let's see what we can do with this one this time. We've noticed that people are playing very tight to the arch side. We want to isolate them clearly because we've been trying to get this basic wrap to A all game, and we've been keep getting shut down right at that moto spot, right where Flom is every time. We just keep getting run over right there. The volley from Bluminator touches nobody, really. He completely lost control of his M4A1, gives up the chance at 2 easy kills, and here comes Manajuma coming all through the porch side. That smoke will be causing so much confusion as they try to plant through. Flom's on top of the headshot box, brings down Irukandji. The next is a trade by Desi. Then everybody else tries to make it up as they go. Desi spins, finds somebody on the balcony, gets traded. It's a huge melee, and nobody can see anybody. One-on-one, Dborn faces off against Pinecone, who gets sprayed while reloading, and Manajuma finally puts up another round.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it seemed like they were just beating their head against the wall right there, trying to get into A. I know we've said, tons of times that CS is a game about personnel matchups. You go, you abuse the areas of the map that are weak. And honestly, if I had to say, I would say Exertus' A hold is very strong. I mean, I think that's the first time that they've gone A and actually had success, whereas B seems to be the area where Manajuma is having the most success. So, I mean, if they utilize their smokes that we've seen them use before, and try to take B again, I mean, they should be able to do it.
And Manajuma has kind of changed their philosophy on that one round. They said, to hell with trying to get that ISO. Let's smoke it up and let's get really close to each other and just fight to trade. Because clearly we're not beating Exertus in bomb side A. So let's fight for the trade and let that very last kill just be a coin toss, because why not? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
4 alive for Manajuma. They've lost one early in Pinecone. Wow! Piercing kill as he steps out, pre-firing the corner. The next one is Oct, who finds somebody. That's Desi through the smoke, and one more in the banana with the bomb carrier supporting. It's deep.
Your mic just cut out, sir. I don't know if I lost you completely, but if you're there, you can talk. If not, I'll take over the PXP for now. So we have Flom here sitting in the cubby, and we do see Shroud and Deborn are making out their way up towards mid, so this could be very dangerous for these guys. They're going to peek out, see Bluminator, and Bluminator actually picks up the kill. If they would have got it, they still wouldn't have known that Deborn, excuse me, Shots was, Flom was in the cubby there. But either way, Exertus cleans it up, and let me see if I have Brandon here to come back. It looks like his internet may have died, fellas, so I'm going to be taking over the PXP for this until he comes back. So let's see. Exertus takes another one, and now they're going to go for the buys. We see Miniker picking up the op. We've seen how lethal he is with that. I'm going to go to his perspective, see if he tries to get an aggressive peek mid early off here, or what he's going to go for. And, of course, Exertus goes with the safe pass around A, and they're going to go ahead and smoke off mid. Alright, so Brandon just told me his power went out, so he's going to be coming back soon, guys. But either way, see Manajuma setting up for a B take here. Miniker has that op. He could try to peek out and get that player playing the CT connector, but it would be dangerous. I would like to see some smokes coming out from these guys, as they have done previously, and it does look like they're going to be setting up. Pinecone goes for the peek. Oh, he does get one, but Miniker trades him out. So now, I mean, this is very advantageous for Manajuma here. They only have to deal with one. They do get him. That's Oct trying to hold the site, and they get the smoke down in the CT. You see Bluminator pushing right through. Comes in, tries to spray him down. Desi goes, takes him out, and that's going to leave Flom and Shots up, as Flom is coming through the construction area and Shots coming through Banana. All of Manajuma is in the site. They're all dug in like ticks, and they just got to hold on to this. And there's Miniker with a kill onto Shot, excuse me, Flom, and Shots does go down after picking up one. So that's a 3-man take by Manajuma, and they're now leading 17-16 as we go into the next half of OT. And we saw before that Manajuma actually had a very strong CT side, so this could be very, very bad for Exertus as we go into this. Exertus really didn't perform too well on their T side. We said, you know, they're missing the smokes that they need, the utility needs that they need to be effective and get into the site. And Manajuma's defense in general on CT side has just been very, very strong. So let's see what Exertus is going to set up for here. We do see lots of speed coming in towards B, so this could be a speed play. And are they going to hold and get some smokes going down? Or no, they are committing to it. And look at that, Pinecone goes down, trying to throw a smoke into the CT spawn from the corner. Not smart. You could actually throw that smoke very safely. And Shroud in that new box position picks up another one. A second. Flom gets a kill. He is all alone in the B site now. And here comes the last member, which is Bluminator, all by himself, trying to come up B. And he's got some work to do. 1 versus 4, and Irakanji takes him down. That's going to be another round for Manajuma. And now, Manajuma on the match point. They have the chance to take this right here, guys. So they could be moving on to the next round of the playoffs in the winner's bracket, and this could be the end for, not the end for Exertus. We do have the loser's bracket, so they could be dropping to the lower bracket after this round. Speed play did not work for him as they went into B. So let's see if they're going to try something else. We see 3 members heading towards B. Oct trying to get a spray down kill in mid. Does not get anything. Actually, does a little bit of damage to Desi. But the trade coming in. Oh, man. Oct taking a ton of damage right there. Down to 19 health. Shots down to 61. And Desi at 40. So the trade's there in favor of Manajuma. And we do see a push here from Desi, pushed up. I mean, he is really going aggro here on this B site. We see 4 people stacked over towards A. 1 person in CT spawn for that quick rotate to B if necessary. But they got Exertus pretty much pigeonholed over in the mid area. Gonna see the number 8 man. He is working up mid here. Gonna try to get a peek. And Irakanji is playing that cubby position. Throws a flash out. Not really gonna do anything much as Exertus is still taking this very, very slow. They know what's at stake here, and they want to stay in the upper bracket, or move this along to a game 3. Pinecone, moving up banana. And the rest of the team is to follow. You see the number 6 man is lurking in mid, waiting for any pushes, or gonna probably try to cause a distraction here. Flom does peek out, sends some shots down the truck side, but doesn't come up with anything. I think this is more of a distraction play while the others are pushing into B. So the no smokes, no entry for grenades coming in here. They just try to go get the kills, and they do get a kill. 1-for-1 trade. Oct is going to get the bomb planted. Shroud is over at the construction. He gets taken down by Bluminator, and now it's a 4 versus 3. Exertus has the advantage here. All members of the CTs are coming from the CT spawn, and that is bad when you're all coming from the same firing window. You see Irikaji in the construction area. Flom picks up a kill, and he was trying to make this happen. Deborn picks up 1. 2 versus 3. Irikaji and Deborn. They definitely have the time to do it, but you see the flank is coming from Flom. Flom picks up 1, and that's going to be Deborn left alive. He is stuck in a corner. He goes down. Exertus gets around on the T side, which we saw they had problems with before. So, I mean, this is where it comes down to. Exertus needs to get this round. It's very, very important, and I'm going to answer this call. Get Brandon back in here.
Yeah,
hello.
what happened? The game over?
Manajuma almost had the win right there, but Exertus just won a T side, and now they're sticking in. Are you back in?
Oh my god, I had a power flicker. You're in California, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You've never seen a man run to a circuit breaker as fast as I just did. Oh my god, I'm sweating.
I was wondering what happened. If you're not back in, let me know, because I could keep doing the PXP.
Keep going, I'm not back in.
All right, so we do see the setup 2-1-2 from Manajuma. You see 2 people playing B. Exertus sending 2 people up banana. Going to be looking for any picks, and we do see a smoke coming out from the number 8 man. That is Bluminator going towards Archway, but that's not really going to do anything because no one is playing over there. You saw the number 5 man move over. Nice flash coming in there. Pinecone picks up 1. Can he get 2? He does get 2. I don't know how he got that. That seemed very twitchy, but he did nonetheless. Exertus trying to enter. Deborn almost picked up 1, gets blinded, and goes down. Miniker, the last one alive for Manajuma. And the lurk from Flom in mid does take him down, and we are going into another OT.
Another? Yes! I didn't miss it all! It's real. This is the game we wanted. I'm not even sure I got the radio call, but this is the game we wanted.
Yeah, Manajuma, they had the chance to take it, but I mean, Exertus coming out on this T side. Oh man, if they would have played like this on the first half, I mean, they could have probably won this game. But I mean, they're actually putting it into effect here. The smokes that they need, and I mean, they're just having good entries and utilizing Flom as a good lurk here.
Are they live again?
Yes, they are.
You're gonna have to call this one more round, I think, or at least I'll come in halfway through this round.
No problem. We see Manajuma putting 3 people over towards banana and pushing up a little bit here, and they might be able to push through the smoke and catch these Exertus members off guard. It's going to be a risky move, and you see they're actually backing up, not going to risk it. They know what's at stake here, so they want to just play as safe as possible. Well, I want to say as safe as possible with this push. Oh, Irikaji. I thought he was pushing through. Moved up to that corner, actually, so he's in a prime spot. Should any of the Exertus members go try to move up to banana. And he actually puts some spray down and rotates back out. And everyone else at Exertus, we saw this before. They're just sitting in mid, looking for that pick. Seeing 4-man stack from Manajuma on A, so they think Exertus is going to be favoring that side. And we do see Bluminator once again working up mid, trying to get a peek, but not seeing anybody. And now we've seen this before. Exertus, 3 men moving up banana. And I mean, if they execute on this site, this is going to be big for them.
Yeah, they will. 3 of them in it. Like you called, Irakanji and Shroud wait, lurking, thinking that this is their moment. We saw 1 overtime pass. We're in the second. And we're going to see Manajuma swapped on this time. This one, they've had some success with. Not so much on their T side, but on their CT side, they were stalwarts. Absolutely ironclad, being unable to be broken. Here comes the assault in, smoke over for the library, and Shots looks backward, turns away at the wrong moment. A onslaught of a Manajuma defense there, and Flom has to do a lot of work to catch up and make up for a lot of lost cracked ground. He probably will not, and Pinecone has to now pick up for him. Weak with only 5 HP, plays the rope-a-dope game with his enemy and ultimately loses it 19-18. I'm back. I'm back, and I'm probably heaving like a fat man.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, so I mean, so far this offense from Exertus on this OTT sides, It seems pretty slow. They're taking their time, whereas before, they were kind of rushing into things, not really putting time onto their nades. But I mean, for now, they're actually sitting in mid, looking for picks, seeing if Manajuma will get aggressive and try to push him, and then trying to work off that.
Speaking of push, look in the banana right now. Desi's right up against the smoke, and Shots and Pinecone are precariously just right outside of it. Smoke at the feet of Flom to dissuade him from even thinking about moving in early, so they'll force Exertus into a slow play. And think about this, Exertus' limited success on T-side came on speed play, so Manajuma purposely slowing them down. That's the right play call. Also running into the crosshairs of Miniker, not the right play call. Ock did not look for that cubby side player, and the comms, I suppose, were just a hair too slow. Still, coming back and hitting that shot is a fairly good feeling, and Desi comes back out of the cubby one-on-one with Shots and probably will win this round. Manajuma 20-18.
Wow. And they did kind of go for the speed play-ish right there. They didn't really hang in mid as they were, but previously they decided to go up mid and try to take that archway. But you saw Manajuma was playing two people there, one in the cubby, which they've been doing actually pretty much almost every round. But since Exertus has been favoring B for the most part, they didn't get a look at that. So, I mean, smart of Manajuma to use that, and now I would assume that they're going to switch away from that.
Certainly you don't want to give away all the rounds. And, Ock gives up the golden opportunity to bring down the Opera. Miniker walks away with 5 HP, and with 5 HP, an Opera is probably just as deadly. The flank is on. Desi has everyone's back. Burns wants the double into a triple. Can't get it. Shots will, from the bench, stop that incursion. That infiltration really, really damaging to their efforts and entry. So clearly the strat was meant for A. You can see everybody looking forward with nobody accounting for that back flank. And it cost them dearly. The next exchange was meant for D-Born, and he walks away with 70. Like I was saying before I got myself cut off, was you don't want to give up 3 on this half. I mean, you just cannot play 3 versus 3 and trade back and forth like that. And this could be it. In the pit, at the pole side, is still one player. You need to hear that shot. Ock comes up over the top of the railing like a sprinter. Comes up, finds Miniker, does enough damage. Turns into a headshot, an unnecessary headshot for a 5 HP Miniker. Shrouds the last, and on this last round, there's no reason to save. So our number 4 is going to come charging out of this library and try to make the play of his playoffs. 1, that's a headshot. He's automatic with that one. Looks to the pit. He's being taunted by Ock. They bait the bomb. Let the bomb timer do the work for them. Apartments and Pit are our last 2 remaining defenders, and he knows where 1 is. So the first one is a headshot. He could have turned if he had just one more moment, but the support player close by, Flom, stops it. That's 2-1 on the half. We swap sides now.
Yeah, and that was a big round for Exertus because we know both teams have been struggling on T side, so when they got that round, that was good for them. I honestly thought Manajuma was going to take the first OT because you saw it on their first T side half. They took it right before you crashed. They took a round. And going into the CT side, Manajuma was looking so strong on the CT side. I thought they were going to take it, but Exertus came back strong. And now, Manajuma has to struggle with that T side once again, so we'll see how they're going to approach this. I mean, we saw the corrections from Exertus, and it worked out well for him, so I'm wondering if we're going to see a differentiation from Manajuma's playbook that we saw in the first half, or second half.
Certainly. There's not a whole lot of differentiation to be done, though. They tried everything. They tried a little bit of everything. A couple set pieces, some speed, some slow, some basic wraps. They tried to get a single isolated pick in apps. They tried to get a single isolated pick at Arch. There's not much more you can do on Inferno. Exertus just played the perfect CT side.
They did. So then if that's the case, then I just say, Manajuma, go work B because that's where you had success.
Yeah, and they do that this round. They're going to find out that Oct is there by himself. Pinecone, who's there all the time and being aggressive and being aggro in that banana, is not there. And this is a tonal change for them. They're saying to themselves, Pinecone's supposed to be pre-firing us right now. Where is he? Where is he? That's got to be something that they're concerned with. 5 pushed up in the banana. Here's the set. That fire will be intended for the new box. Flashes. Smokes over. We've seen this take before. This cascade of flashes makes it impossible for the defenders to see. They'll have to back out and leave Ock by himself. Ock has to make a B play, and he started off well. 2, almost a third, and a TK. Irakanji, actually suicide, not a TK, runs into his own fire and dies. 4 versus 2. They threw that set piece again, and it didn't work the first time they tried it against Exertus. It didn't work that time. They'll have to make some spectacular AK shots. Otherwise, it's another Exertus win. At the Speedway, his shots spotting the site. No bomb plant available, 25 seconds. And they don't care, really. Once they hear that beat, they know he's got to be either Fountain or Barbecue. Here's the flashes. They're going to try to get their teammate walking through the smoke, and they find Stride at the right? Shroud at the new box. Everybody cleaned up. 3 alive for the CTs. Not like the rebuys really matter. Here's the defuse. It's going to be 20-20.
Close game. I was laughing because Irkanji said in all chat, I just mollied myself, lol. So, yeah, a little bit of mistake there from Irkanji. Could have potentially cost them the round. I mean, had he been alive, that would have been another person to help defend the bomb planter as they needed it, as all the CTs rotated really quickly right there. But either way, nice play by Exertus. They did good trades while Manajuma was entering the site. So, I mean, good job by the players in B, and then good quick rotates from the A players as well.
It's in your head, Manajuma. You must understand you need that one round because Exertus got you that first half. How did Miniker not get his AK under control? He completely let Flom get his rifle back out and spray him down. Finally traded out 3 versus 2. And that is a huge head slap moment for Miniker, who just totally let his entry fall by the wayside. His opportunity spoiled. 2 versus 2, and D-Born's doing some work to make up for some lost ground. Shots and Oct face off against Irkanji and D-Born. Know that the bomb is in CT spawn, and he's being a flanker. I think Irkanji knows that he has the bomb. He does. He backs it off. He's like, okay, I got the kill I was looking for. Now I'm running. Now I'm getting over to bomb site B, and this is the round they're looking for if they can just hold on to the site. Shots will be forced to clutch, and he's happy to do so because this is his chance to shine. Our number 7's who we follow now.
Yeah, I was a little confused there. I mean, Irkanji definitely could have got the bomb plant and just waited for his teammate. But, I mean, it worked out for him because he was able to just rotate over, and they thought, okay, the fake is happening. They're going to be rotating over towards B, not realizing someone was in the CT spawn, and he got an easy kill from it.
1-on-2. Shots is on the fountain. Through the fire for the new box. Nobody was there, so he thinks Emo. One's there. Yes, that's good. Now the fire's on the bomb. He can't defuse it, but he knew it came from the banana. He's going to try to go for this kill, but to no effect. You're not going to force anyone to not buy next round. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and not enough time regardless. That fire was really well placed by D-Born right there because the bomb timer was ticking, and had he gone for the defuse, he would have just burned alive. So, I mean, great heads-up play there by D-Born.
So this last round, this is the tilt. This is triple overtime. Is that right?
Yeah.
If this goes Exertus' way, it's just triple overtime?
Exactly.
Or Manajuma wins it. Manajuma's like, you want to do 3? Should we just throw? Should we throw? They'll speed toward the apartment, slow up by the stairs. Shots is waiting at the top, and I guess the success of this round hinges on whether or not Desi wants to walk right into that smoke. He chooses not to because his teammates nearby has the bomb, so technically he's the entry fragger for this site. And if he goes down and they force the bomb to be the entry fragger, that's probably not the way the strat was drawn up. 5 alive. Note that they have 1 molly. I'm curious to know what Shroud wants to do with that. It's a very purposeful buy, obviously. 2 protecting down at Banana, the bomb carrier, and that's D-Born, and Irkanji waiting for that push from Pinecone. They've been caught before, and they don't want to let that happen this round. No stupid mistakes, and I suppose nobody's throwing for triple overtime, not tonight.
Yeah, Manajuma, if you look at the inventory, they all still have their smokes and nades, so I mean, they're in a good spot here, whereas if you look at Exertus, they just got flashes left. I mean, which is going to be good for counter flashing and stopping, delaying a little bit, but for the most part, I mean,
look at this.
Smokes,
look at the full-on rotate. 4 leaving the site? Oh, just kidding. Just 3, but still a fast rotate. So Flom looks for a flanker. Shots wants to be flashed in to check the apps, and the bomb is still at A. Pinecone gets a kill. With the second, they would know that nobody else is in the banana. So the rotate gets canceled. Flom is sent back toward bomb site A, and Desi hits the entry. At the balcony is Desi. There's the first connected shot. Does a ton of damage, but no good. 4 are in the site. Manajuma are so close to winning it. Now Exertus has to make the hero play. 3 on the retake. That's Bluminator and Pinecone, and their teammate just went down. 2 versus 3. 1 alive. It's Bluminator. For triple overtime or the playoff first game win. 1, 2, no good. 22-20 is your final score. Manajuma wins it in double overtime. You're watching CEVO TV. What a start to the playoffs.